So, there was this young guy walking along the beach when he spots a skull in the sand. He tries to ignore it, but then he thinks, how did that skull get here? Suddenly, he hears a voice in his head saying, "Blabbering got me here." Freaked out, he wonders, did that skull just talk? The voice answers, "Yeah, I was answering your question. You asked how I got here." Anyway, the guy goes into the nearby town, heads straight for the church, and announces, "People, you're looking for miracles in the wrong place. I know where the real deal is. Follow me." The folks are intrigued, but one of them snarks, "What, you think you can make a quick buck off this?" The guy replies, "Nah, just chip in 5 cents each." Long story short, they all contribute. He leads them to the skull, but no matter what he says or does, nobody can hear the skull's voice. Naturally, the crowd gets angry, ties the guy up, and hauls him before the king. The king says, "All right, buddy, you have until sunrise to prove this skull can talk. If not, off with your head." Sure enough, sunrise comes, no proof, and the guy's head rolls off next to the skull. The skull asks his severed head, "So what brought you here?" The head groans, "Blabbering my big mouth." The skull replies, "Yup, that's a dead-end road, and there are 7 things that can turn our lives into hell." "It's not that we'll end up in hell," the skull continues, "but our lives become a living hell. Suddenly you have health issues, money problems, relationship troubles. You can't find a girlfriend or boyfriend, and it usually happens because people don't watch what comes out of their mouths. So listen up, here are the 7 things you better not blab about. First off, if you're single and you go around whining to people, 'Oh, I can't find a boyfriend,' or 'I can't get a girlfriend,' that negative talk sinks in. Your mindset becomes 'I'm unlovable,' or 'guys don't like me,' or 'girls don't dig me.' Every time you mope about being alone, you reinforce the belief that nobody wants you. You become the victim in your own story. So if you want a partner, don't advertise your singleness. You're just putting a jinx on any future relationships. Secondly, don't kiss and tell about your sexual escapades like a girl gushing, 'Oh, my boyfriend and I had such amazing sex, his penis was this big, and we did this crazy position.' Maybe guys do that too, I don't know. But think about it. When you describe it with words, you're painting a picture in the listener's mind. Even if it's your close friend, now they're imagining your partner naked and getting it on. From then on, they'll look at your significant other and think, 'Oh yeah, I know exactly what they're like in bed.' Not cool to share that intimate stuff. Number 3, don't brag about your achievements. I knew this one guy who'd always go, 'Check out what a stud I am. I accomplished this. I did that.' When people boast, it signals they're insecure and need to prove their worth. But flaunting your ego like, 'Look at me, I'm amazing,' that's just asking for a downfall. Suddenly your money dries up, your relationships crumble, your health tanks. If you've got it going on, let others bring up your successes. Don't toot your own horn. 4, watch how you talk about your parents. Bad-mouthing them like, 'My dad's such a jerk,' or 'My mom is crazy,' that's putting a curse on your own life. See, your dad represents the success and prosperity in your life, while your mom governs your relationships and family dynamics. When you trash-talk your parents, you pollute the well from which you sprang. You undermine your own foundations. No wonder so many people struggle with money, love, and health. They've disrespected their roots. If you want blessings, honor your parents. Don't slander them. 5, if you're on a spiritual path and having mystical experiences, communing with God, achieving enlightenment, keep that sacred stuff to yourself. Don't go blabbing about it to all your friends and strangers. The moment you start bragging, 'Look at me, I'm so enlightened,' your spiritual practice and progress will nosedive. Why? Because true spiritual growth comes through humility and grace, not the ego saying, 'Check out how awesome I am.' That's a quick way to stunt your spiritual evolution. Spiritual realizations are an intimate, private journey, not fodder for conversation. 6, talking smack about your kids is another no-no. When you vent, 'My kid is such a brat, they did this horrible thing,' you're planting seeds of negativity about your own offspring, your legacy. Your children are extensions of you. If you label them as bad or deficient, you're really criticizing yourself as a parent. Those resentments and judgments you express get turned inward. Best to blame yourself if your kids act up, not broadcast their supposed faults far and wide. Lastly, bad-mouthing your friends behind their backs is a major breach of trust. If you go around telling people, "Can you believe what a jerk my friend was? They did such and such," that's a betrayal, plain and simple. How can you look that friend in the eye with a clear conscience after that? Putting down your closest companions only puts yourself down. The takeaway is this: elevating others elevates you. Diminishing others diminishes you. There are two paths to getting what you want in life: the way of karma or the way of wholeness. The karmic path means knowing all the rules about what to say and not say to avoid messing up your life circumstances. It's easy to slip up, and next thing you know, your world unravels because you ran your mouth. Then you're reading books like Transcending Reality, trying to manifest your way out of the mess you created through negative speech. The skull seemed to gather itself for a moment, then continued its rap. All right, I got one more thing to lay on y'all before I'm done preaching. This is probably the most important part, so listen up close. See, the 7 no-no topics I just ran through, not being able to find a partner, oversharing about your sex life, bragging about your own greatness, talking trash about your parents, blabbing your spiritual experiences, venting about your kids' faults, and bad-mouthing your friends, that's all following the karmic path. It's a bunch of rules and restrictions about what you can and can't say. But here's the real 411. That karmic path is just setting you up for a cycle of trying to consciously control your circumstances through your speech. You make a request for success, health, relationships, or whatever, but then you have to pay the karmic price somewhere else in your life. It's like, okay, universe, I want a hot partner, but in exchange, I'll take a financial hit. Or, I'd love to manifest wealth, but I guess my body's going to break down. That's the ridiculous karmic checklist we put ourselves through when we get caught up in these manifestation mind games described in books like Transcending Reality and whatnot. Always sacrificing one area of life for another. It's an endless, exhausting cycle. The path of true wholeness doesn't work that way. It's not about strict dogma or trading one desire for another seeming lack. When you commit to an authentic spiritual tradition and way of life, all the qualities you want, vibrant health, fulfilling relationships, abundant wealth, just naturally blossom and flow to you. Your whole being ascends at once. By being vigilant about not voicing those 7 toxic speech patterns, you're just clearing debris from your soul's path. But the real work is following the inward journey toward enlightenment, the reunion of your soul with the divine source. That's when true wholeness arises and your life blossoms with all those wonderful qualities as a spontaneous side effect. So don't get caught up in the karmic shake and bake, always struggling to consciously ration out the circumstances you want while fearing what you'll lose in turn. Commit yourself to the boundless path, grounding your speech in the highest wisdom. That's when you ascend from this realm of hellish struggle to realms of blissful, eternal heaven on earth wholeness. Word is bond. The skull seemed to nod sagely, then fell silent once more, its otherworldly message delivered. With the path of wholeness, you follow a proven spiritual tradition, and your whole life blossoms as you watch your words. Your health flourishes, your relationships thrive, you attract abundance, all by being conscious of avoiding these 7 things people should never blab about. Otherwise, your very words turn your existence into a living hell. So keep your mouth zipped about that stuff and stay on the upward path to happiness.